Hello and good evening. I am Alphonso McGriff III, and this is Alphonso Speaks. I use this platform to promote the conscious conversation experience. And so when I come on, that's what we talk about, the conscious conversation experience. If I seem to be rubbing my face and nose, well, not seem to be, if I'm rubbing my face and nose, it's kind of like sweat trickling down my face because it's hot in her. And and it's I just that might happen. So anyway, for those of you who don't know, the conscious conversation experience is a collaboration and movement that chooses love and enlightenment. It's a collaboration and movement that chooses love and enlightenment. I talk about resolution, which is the successful solving of a problem. The successful solving of a problem. I'm here to help myself and people around the world transform conflict into conscious conversation that leads to understanding, resolution, and enlightenment. I'm not here to get anybody to do anything. It's never good to try to get anyone to do anything. However, it's okay to share information with hopes that maybe others will understand where you're coming from and can potentially use the information to improve the quality of who they are. So that's what I do when I come on. I come on to share information. And if it's useful, that's a beautiful thing. And if it's not, it's also beautiful because people can just keep it moving and proceed the way they were. But I never move with the desire to get anybody to do anything. In detail, what is a conscious conversation? A conscious conversation is a verbal interaction where we speak with the desire to understand. We ask questions and we share information. We take responsibility for our thoughts, words, and actions and control our prejudices and emotions, which, if left unchecked, will disrupt the goal of having a conscious conversation. The strength of a conscious conversation is its ability to inspire rather than manipulate. Ultimately, the conscious conversation experience is a pathway to understanding, resolution, and enlightenment. Just a warning, I have learned that developing myself can lead to unnecessary challenges with insecure people who are intimidated by those who have a sense of self. It's not our problem, but it is one of those consequences or challenges that come with personal growth. And that's why people talk about how sometimes, in order to grow, you have to let some things go. In order to grow, sometimes you got to let some things go. And that's just real. Now, tonight, we're talking about why we never call anybody crazy during a conscious conversation. One of the common statements during arguments or interactions is, man or woman, you crazy, or you crazy as hell. These are common statements made during verbal interactions. No excuse can justify calling anyone crazy during a conscious conversation, and we never engage in this behavior. So again, we're talking about the conscious conversation experience, and we're saying we don't call people crazy when we're participating in the conscious conversation experience. The statement is insulting, dismissive, and antagonizing, and inflammatory. And when we use it, we confirm that we have no respect for the person, their history, their experiences, or what they have to say. So it's really not cool to call people crazy, and it's not sexy. We generally defer to this term because of the frustration associated with our inability to adequately articulate our point, or accept a different opinion. Those of us who use this term rarely understand how it will adversely affect someone who is extremely sensitive because of trauma connected to a mental health condition or a past experience. Using the word crazy can trigger verbal and physical confrontations. We desire not to have confrontations during a conscious conversation. Using this language is almost guaranteed that there will be a confrontation. That is verbal or physical or both. So we don't call people crazy during the conscious conversation experience. If we're having a conversation that contributes to our enlightenment while bringing us safety, security, and personal peace, using such a term is contrary to life affirming behavior. If we have no respect for a person or what they have to say, rather than call them crazy, it's better not to converse with them, or even you can even leave the conversation. Just don't say anything to them or leave the conversation. Because when we digress to calling somebody crazy, we're basically saying we have no respect for what they have to say. So that's the note for tonight as it relates to the conscious conversation experience. We never call anyone crazy. It's insulting, dismissive, antagonizing, and inflammatory, and usually leads to some type of confrontation. Just don't call people crazy. It's just, and it's not sexy. And I'm trying to be sexy. So when we engage in the conscious conversation experience, it's not something we do. So the question for tonight is, do I need to be validated? Do I need to be validated? It's a very important question. Because I noticed that in some of the schools, I've seen a 4-year-old come to class, and when they walk in the classroom, everyone in the classroom, excuse my face, is hot and I'm sweating, and that's just the way it is. But I've witnessed a 4-year-old walk into a classroom, and everybody stops and turns around, and all of the 4-year-olds say, "Hi, Brittany," and then they all gather around Brittany and give her a hug and a greeting. And that's just very nice. But Brittany is getting set up, because life doesn't work like that. And I think it's really nice, but it's just the beginning of a tough life. Anytime we feel like we need to be validated, we're setting ourselves up for unnecessary pain. If someone gives us a wonderful compliment, that's a beautiful thing. However, if we need to be complimented and validated, now that's different. That's where we find ourselves in situations where our feelings are hurt and messed up, and it's a lot of people. I'm talking about highly successful people as defined by this society and setup success, who really get twisted to the left if they aren't validated, and not just in general, but by everybody. There are people who need to be validated by everybody. I'm the kind of person who, I don't hold anybody higher than me. I don't care who it is. Nobody gets held higher than me, by me. When I walk into the room, whoever is my attitude is whoever is in the room, I am in the room also. We are all human beings with wonderful things about us and faults with us. So nobody gets held higher than me by me. And sometimes I do run into some challenges when I don't give people the validation that they're used to getting from everybody. But that's just life. And I don't look for validation from people. Like I said, compliments are cool, but needing to be validated, that is not good. that could end up being serious problems. And I'm watching them being trained the need to be validated at 4 years old. So we have to keep that in mind. You know, you have kids graduating from kindergarten. They have a whole graduation ceremony from kindergarten. Then they have a whole graduation ceremony from junior high school. Then a whole rewarding graduation ceremony from high school. And then they get out there in real life and nobody gives a hoot or holler about them. And they have a tough time adjusting because of that. This validation thing, whatever you do, you got kids, you got grandkids, help them understand how poisonous that can be and that they shouldn't live life needing to be validated not by their spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, cousins, aunts, uncles. They should never need to be validated by anyone. They have to have a certain sense of self. And for me, I've learned that I have to have a certain sense of self so that I don't go out here and need to be validated. And it has happened to me. It's happened to the best of us. There's nothing worse than having this great idea, this great thought, and you go share it with somebody, and they're dismissive, and they just totally smash your feelings and your whole heart and everything with how they respond. And now you got to spend time recovering from that. And in most cases, many of us never recover because we're brought up in the society that convinces us that it's normal to feel the need to be validated. It's normal to seek validation. It's normal to feel like people should support you. And that's not the case out here in reality. Not at all. Especially if you're moving to improve the quality of who you are. If you're openly working on improving the quality of who you are, people will call you judgmental when they're actually the ones being judgmental. You know, I don't drink, for instance. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke weed. I don't get high. I don't never have done any of that stuff. I tried alcohol once, it tasted horrible. I tried smoking other stuff once, and that made me sick. And I never really got into cigarettes. So what I'm saying is, I've never gotten into any of that stuff. But I don't judge people around me if that's their lifestyle and that's what they choose to do. That's a part of their life. But insecure people will think that I'm judging them because I don't do it. And those are the kind of things we have to be aware of. We have to have a sense of self so we can move past and through insecure people, because we have insecure people all over the place who will make it their personal business to break us down, to show us, well, you ain't all about what you think you're about. Their only objective will be to help us understand that we're not all about that, whatever it is we think we're about. And then you just walking around, I'm just walking around just being me and being what works for me, while somebody who is insecure is looking at me concerned about, in a negative way, about how I feel about me. I'm supposed to feel good about me. I'm supposed to walk in a room and feel like I am a king. I'm supposed to walk in this apartment and out of this apartment every day feeling like I am a king. And I'm supposed to not put anybody above me. That's how I'm supposed to do. That's how I feel. So I don't worship anybody. I don't worship any men. I don't hold anybody above me. I don't, and it's okay if other people do. I just don't, because I can't live with the need to be validated. At least not anymore. And like I said, I have lived that way at one point, and I have been devastated by people who didn't validate me, and that's just not going to happen anymore. It's not healthy, and it's not good for people to have that much control in our lives. So, do I need to be validated? No. I think that's a question you all can ask yourselves and make a determination if you are operating in a way where you might be out here in these streets needing to be validated and getting your feelings all raggedied up and hurt. So again, I come on to share the information I about how we can be better with how we interact with each other. Ultimately, I'll be doing this in schools and in universities, corporations and conferences, businesses, nonprofit organizations, youth development organizations. I'll be doing this all over the place for a lot of different people because I know we need it and we can use it. And I'm available to make that happen. So, what is a conscious conversation? At the very foundation of a conscious conversation, there must be a desire to understand. Just like everything I said about validation and not holding any person, any man gets held higher than me by me. And I explain myself. And rather than look at me and say, oh, he thinks he's this or that. Yes, I can confirm it. When I leave this house and while I'm in it, I think I am a king. Absolutely. So, and I'm supposed to, because I don't expect anybody else to believe that. The only thing that matters is I believe it. And I don't need to be validated by anybody. So, the biggest part of a conscious conversation, if there's no desire to understand, there can be no conscious conversation. That's what makes this type of conversation different from any other kind of conversation, because the objective of this kind of conversation is understanding. We're not trying to win. We're not trying to be the best. We're not trying to win a debate, any of that stuff. We're just trying to understand each other. That's all. That is all. You can be doing anything right now in this very moment, and you chose to give me some time in your life. I do not take it for granted. I love you all, and I always will. And I will never give up on our people, ever, ever. I thank you for listening, and I look forward to talking to you again next week. I might come on an hour late next week. So next week, starting next week, I'll probably be coming on at 9. Next week, I'll be coming on at 9 because I have something to do until 8 o'clock. So next week, I'll be coming on at 9. All right. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your evening. And again, thanks a lot for tuning in. I appreciate you.